Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. On today's show, we are talking about what it means to be firefighting. The year was 1980, and a friend and I had both been given the task of organizing the Canada Day festivities for the city of Halifax, Nova Scotia. I was 16 years old, and this is a fact that just astounds me, the fact that I was given that responsibility at such a young age. The government official who hired us had organized the pyrotechnics team from Expo 67 to come and shoot off the fireworks, and we thought it might be a good idea to launch the fireworks from George's Island, an island that sits in the middle of Halifax Harbor. That way, both the twin cities of Halifax and Dartmouth could see the fireworks from pretty much any vantage point in the city. Historically, the fireworks were launched from the other side of Citadel Hill, where only the city of Halifax would be able to see them. About a week before the Canada Day festivities, the pyrotechnics crew showed up with a big yellow Ryder truck full of about 5,000 pounds of explosives. We hired a fisherman with a Cape Dory fishing boat to ferry the explosives out to George's Island. It took about 3 days to get all of the pyrotechnics onto the island. Now, Citadel Hill forms a natural amphitheater, at least on one side, so on the side facing the city, that's where the crowd would typically congregate to watch the shows that would be on the main stage. The main stage was set up on a football field on the side of the hill facing away from the harbor. Oh, and I forgot to mention, at that moment in time there was actually a local police strike. The Federal Royal Canadian Mounted Police said they would come if they were summoned, but otherwise, with 50,000 people, there was absolutely zero police presence. It was a beautiful, warm, sunny day. We had a great turnout. The show went extremely well. There was no way for us to communicate with the team on George's Island, so we hired 2 licensed VHF radio operators to communicate by handheld radio. As dusk set in, so too did the fog start to roll in. At the end of the show, 50,000 people got up, walked around to the other side of Citadel Hill so that they could sit down again and watch the fireworks. And there's not much on George's Island. There's an old abandoned lighthouse and the lighthouse keeper's home. The pyrotechnics crew decided to set up the fireworks display in sand pits on the beach of the island. The rest of the island was pretty much covered by tall grass. In addition to the pyrotechnics team that was hired to do the job, 5 friends of mine were actually sent out to the island to work with the pyrotechnics crew. The team seemed pretty professional, they were safety conscious, and they had 5 fire extinguishers with them. At the appointed time, the first volley of fireworks went off. They looked spectacular. But as time went on, they became less and less frequent. We learned afterwards that the rocket sent off huge showers of sparks that would set the tall grass on fire. Within the first 5 minutes, all of the fire extinguishers had been fully consumed. Like any good team, they adapted and decided that they were going to organize themselves a little bit differently. They divided the team in 2. Half of the team worked on setting off the fireworks, and the other half were running around stamping out the grass fires with their feet. Now, instead of this fireworks display taking 20 minutes, it took a total of 55 minutes. Instead of 1 or 2 or 3 seconds between fireworks, there were at times as much as 15 to 20 seconds between fireworks. The team was literally firefighting. So what does it mean to be firefighting? It's a term that we hear often. When you're firefighting, you're really multitasking. Things take longer, a lot longer. In fact, more than double. Not only that, you often can't focus long enough to do a good job of the one thing you're supposed to be doing. How often do we multitask in our daily lives? When you don't take a task to completion, everything takes longer. That 15-minute task that took you 2 weeks to do is because you were multitasking. This thought was very present for me over the last couple of weeks because our refrigerator died. Here, too, we were multitasking. Instead of preparing our meals as usual, we had to plan our shopping much more carefully. In our current location, it's extremely difficult to find ice. We were spending as much as an hour a day in search of ice. This kind of firefighting comes in many different forms. Well, despite that fiasco, they hired my friend and I to organize the Canada Day festivities the following year. As you think about that, ask yourself, what areas in your life are you firefighting? Have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.